My mom is awesome, and so I wanted to make an awesome gift for her for Mother's Day. Sadly, she'll be stuck with whatever my meager skills can produce, even if it's far short of awesome. I made this block of wood by sandwiching some plywood between cedar with Titebond original glue, and then letting it dry overnight. Making a bandsaw box is not particularly difficult, but it does require making several cuts in a particular order and then gluing a bunch of stuff back together. Easy, right? The first cut is to remove the back of the box. So identify which side looks better, and then cut the other side. I remembered to identify which side looked better, but failed to cut out the opposite side. The next cut is to remove the interior drawer from the box. Pro tip from a non-pro. When you make the entry cut, be careful to cut with the wood grain so that it's easier to hide that cut when you glue it all back together. I thought my design for the drawer was nice. Follow the grain pattern and then somewhat conform to the sides of the box. I wish I would have thought to make the top and bottom of the drawer more distinguishable from each other. As it is, it's easy to mistake the top for the bottom and try to jam the drawer back in upside down. I'm not going to mention how I know that. For the next cuts, both the front and the back of the drawer need to be removed. The final cut is to remove the interior of the drawer. I was a bit too greedy on drawer space, nearly cutting right through the drawer. Luckily, I was able to course correct, barely averting disaster. After making all those cuts, it's time to start piecing everything back together. Just make sure that you get all the right pieces back in all the right spots, facing all the right directions. Then it's time to sand the parts that will be less accessible after gluing things together. You want to get enough glue to get good coverage of the surfaces, but not so much glue that it will squeeze out everywhere, causing problems with the box accepting whatever stain or finish you want to use. It's a delicate balance. I used way too much glue when making my wife a shoe bench for her birthday, which, after it squeezed out, inhibited the wood from accepting stain near the joints. You can check out that video using the link in the description. Just don't point out the problem to her. I'm hoping she hasn't noticed. She probably has. I'm using more Titebond original wood glue to put the box back together. Original does well for projects that won't see much exposure to water or humidity, like in our semi-arid climate here. With the drawer all assembled and glued together, some people like to use clamps to ensure it adheres together properly, but I have it on good authority that the absolute best thing to use is a mostly full container of Simply Green cleaner to put on top. If you don't have any Simply Green, you may be able to get by with some other heavy object. I want to talk to you about what makes my mom awesome. But before I do, please comment below about what makes your mom awesome. And then, if possible, make sure to let her know about it for this Mother's Day. As I started to glue the back onto the box, I'm not sure that I remembered at first that I also needed to glue the edge back together. Remember, this is where the entry cut was made to be able to cut out the drawer. If you like this project, make sure you hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe. After getting the box back together, the absolute best thing to put on top is a container of chainsaw bar oil. Obviously. That's an uncomfortably close look at my face. Sorry about that. To complete the box, all that is left is to router the edges, which you can skip if you want, sand, a lot, and then apply stain and/or finish. On this project, I skipped the stain and go straight to a spray shellac finish. So let's get back to some of the things that make my mom awesome. To be an awesome mom, you first have to become a mom. And my mom did. over and over and over. She bore 5 daughters, and then, since that certainly wasn't enough, she had 4 sons. I'm lucky she didn't stop after any of the first 6 kids. My 2 younger brothers are lucky that I was so awesome that she wanted more kids even after me. When I was a toddler, we had an old-style wooden rocking chair. When I had trouble getting to sleep, I remember her gently rocking me while singing little lullaby songs that she made up just for me, incorporating my name and everything. She has a great singing voice. And music was often a part of our home. She played piano, and us kids would gather around and sing along to various folk songs, songs from church, or my favorites, old Disney animated movies. Let's go fly a kite. Well, you get it. With all that musical experience, she often volunteered us kids to perform in front of various audiences. But we'll discuss that another time, since right now is about how awesome she is. Back then, Mom would often make bread from scratch, even grinding wheat for the flour. The wheat grinder would seemingly shake the whole house. If we were watching television, which, let's face it, we probably were, the wheat grinder would cause interference in the transmission, making the picture very fuzzy. Mom would save out a little bit of the bread dough for each of us little kids to put in our own personal round metal bread pans, each with about a 1-cup capacity. She got out the food coloring, and we would each personalize our mini loaves with something resembling our names, so that we would know which loaf belonged to which child after everything came out of the oven. Always so yummy. The homemade bread eventually slowed and stopped, though, because my dad got sick and couldn't work anymore. Mom, instead of being the bread maker, became the breadwinner. All the while, she worked hard for her family, both when she was at home with us kids, as well as when she was working outside the home. I've learned a lot from my mom. But beyond the music, the cooking, the manners, maybe the most important thing I've learned from her is the importance of family. And that is just part of what makes her awesome. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.